Today we have a show like others, like we always do. We're going to start off the show here with some Nissan news. Mike?
Woo! All right, guys. Just like you said, Miles, Nissan News. This segment of the show is typically where Miles and I we each go through the internet's the Nissan media newsrooms to other third-party uh, articles and a- anything related to Nissan, and try to find an article. We each find one article that we like to share with you guys, and we typically try to go for the obscure. Sometimes there are some topics that are just so hot that we have to talk about it, and so I think we've got an example of both this time around, though. But um, let's get into it, guys. This is our Nissan News segment. Miles, I think you have the first article. This one was
Yeah.
pretty hot. When I was doing when we were searching, I saw this one a lot of places.
Yeah, this one just came up pretty quickly. It actually just kind of jumped up on the feed here in the last, like, God, 24, 48 hours. Wasn't very long. So right now, just recently, the Tokyo Auto Show actually just popped off here within the last 2 days, and Nissan unveiled five concept vehicles here recently. And Mike will bring up the article here from what we can find.
Sure.
But they released four, and then they kept the fifth one kind of hidden in the back. And it was a low profile, high wing. So there was a lot of excitement from what we're being told at the show about this concept that was released. And lo and behold, the release for this vehicle was dropped. This is, of course, was the Nissan, the all electric Hyperforce concept. That was a GTR concept that was just released here within the last day or and a half. Now, this vehicle is apparently boasting a 1,341, if you want to translate it like that, into base horsepower. In gigawatts, it's quadrillion.
Gigawatts.
But apparently it's a one-off concept. The probability of development is extremely low right now, but again, it was an extremely cool concept, boasting all-wheel drive, of course, and then of course the all stable batteries that we've been talking about for the longest time are kind of
Hmm,
here,
we
maybe
have.
not, but apparently it is a working model at this point with the boast. But I mean, there's a lot kind of going on. There's a lot of nods, in my opinion. I mean, just the roof line, the silhouette kind of
Yeah.
carries to with it everything from the
Oh,
35.
the taillights. Yeah, even the
Tail lights.
taillights.
Well, the
Yeah.
wing layout. I mean, the roof layout as well. There's just a lot going on. To me, the nose drags out like the old R31 silhouette from back in the day.
The
But
silhouette racers. Yeah, that's
yeah,
an
I mean, there's
exaggerated front end.
yeah, and then there, of course, we've got some stuff that's the Nismo GTR up in the front with the fenders. I mean, there's a lot going on with this car if you really truly dissect it. But it's a concept just like anything else. It's just meant to stir up excitement. Anybody have anything in the comments? Let us know your thoughts, your what you've got, what you have thought as you've seen
Yeah.
this rollout from Nissan. Let
Oh,
us
for
know.
sure.
We'll kind of talk about it.
Now,
Ion did mention right now Bo Suzuka style. I would kind
oh,
of Bozo style. I would say a little bit. Yeah, like with the front kind of going on. Again, that's
wide
that
flares.
R31 silhouette. That yeah, I would say it kind of has that a little bit. But there's certain little details that I'm really kind of digging on it as I
Yeah.
start to dig into it, like um, the mirrors. I know they're almost unusable, but
See how thin they are.
they
Yeah.
are super thin. But
Let's see.
the aerodynamic sleekness of it, the gull wing doors. I don't know if those constitute as gull wing doors, but
No,
those are
not
definitely
a goal.
interesting.
Not a
Yeah,
goal. Yeah, yeah.
I guess yeah. So
I was trying to
um,
find a picture of those mirrors, like you mentioned. If you look here, yeah, they are razor thin. I don't. It's interesting for sure. Go ahead.
no, that was pretty much kind of what we had. I mean, some of the other stuff was interesting in the car, but again, for a concept, it definitely has drawn a lot of attention. But I wonder how much of this will actually translate into the gas powered GTR, or if it'll just completely be a concept where it's
Yeah.
all standing on its own. I don't know.
Yeah. Now,
So
one of the statements they did say, right, it was essentially what they call a vision of the future.
mm,
How far of a future, how far away remains to be seen.
yeah,
I think the coolest thing I saw, at least to me, just nerding out on this, was obviously it's an EV. We get that essentially 99% of concepts from any manufacturer are EV nowadays. But they were saying that the capacity of the battery was one. Am I getting this right? Milliwatt.
yeah, yeah,
It's like the
milliwatts.
big. Essentially, it's the biggest battery you could was ever been fitted into a car
Yeah.
as of now. Which not only has let's talk about range is one thing if you really want to be efficient, but this is a hypercar. You're not trying to be efficient. We're talking about
Well, let's
applying
call
that
it,
power to the wheels.
if I could coin a term, if it hasn't already been done, let's call it like a hyper supercar. Are we really going to talk about distance on a hyper supercar at this point? You really never want to bring up something like that with something comparatively like this. This is pretty much power, reasonable distance
Yeah.
is what I would probably be shooting for if it was ever to make it into fruition uh, as a vehicle that was attainable for the public. But yeah, but
Now,
in a racing concept, potentially, if there was a platform to debut this in, which
yeah,
you never know what's going to happen with things like Super GT or other series that may develop.
in the
But
future, yeah.
you never know. But could it? Of course, it would be completely different. uh, we're talking in that concept. But again, we're just talking concept. Very cool ideas. Um, very
Yeah.
cool for them to kind of drop this. So again,
Now, just curious too. I know these pictures that we're sharing are pure. I mean, obvious illustrations.
mhm.
Now, there was a physical model though that they debuted. Just to confirm, right? That
Correct. There was.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Oh wait, I saw that. Look at this. It's pixelated, but it kind of gives you the idea that it says GTR up in the
Yeah, we're
center.
we're
You see
going after
that?
that whole retro Blade Runner kind of all tossed together.
I see
Yeah.
Blade Runner in this for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we had Ion chime in and say maybe it's a RoboCop future. This one too. That's another franchise.
Yeah, it kind of got me. There's a couple different things that kind of come to mind, and it's weird. It's all cinema based, right? Like the Aliens 2, like where they kind of have that low vehicle. Of course, it's a completely different animal, but like the wheels, like they're just so massive, and then of course these um, just these slight silhouette accents. Somebody else told me the other day when I was talking about it, Cybertruck, and I was just like, no, it's completely different manufacturers, but the idea is people are kind of following that lead, that very just sharp edge
Yeah.
with very tech heavy vehicles. I mean,
Well, and that's when
is
it
that
comes
the
down to
future? So
design in general. Like we always see these cycles of design. I mean, think about the last time we saw sharp angles were in the '80s. Then you get
well,
into the '90s bubble era.
art is
You know,
revolutionary. It's always kind
yeah,
of coming back in your
cyclatory.
face.
It just
It's
yeah,
cyclatory. It's
we're
going to
seeing it.
recycle itself in some capacity
Yeah,
and then reinvented. So yeah. But anyway, I'm not going to harp on it too much. But
yeah.
yeah, there it is, the concept, one of five that was released at the Tokyo Auto Salon, and a little hint for those, or a little fact for those that didn't know. Do you know how the Tokyo Auto Salon came to be?
No.
Okay,
Wait,
so
wait, wait. Is this? Ooh,
it's true.
I think I know, but you go ahead and do the honors.
No,
That's a
oh,
good
like,
one.
come on. I'll tell you what. I will
Okay.
not ding you if you get it wrong. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was thinking, wasn't it something that essentially involved Mr. K in the
It
beginning?
was. It was.
Yes, yes.
All right, you're halfway there.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah.
What
Because
was the rest of it?
there's an organization that has to do with automotive in Japan, and I think
Correct.
it was this convention that was essentially initiated by Mr. K at some point.
So he said basically he had these, and this was around the time when he was trying to debut the Z and everything else, and he
Mhm.
basically said, "Hey, we need to debut and pull together our vehicles. To why don't we have our own Nissan, or excuse me, our own Tokyo show?" So he went to all the major manufacturers and he was the guy who really kind of pushed for there to be a Tokyo Motor Show, and
Mm.
that's actually how it kind of started.
It's really cool, man. Again, it's man, not the another feather in the cap for Mr. K, which we've known here.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
know.
that
It's it's one
he
of the
was in
weird things.
everything, man.
It's one of the weird things that people don't want to talk about, but it's pretty cool. If you want to hear more about like the craziness of Mr. K, believe it or not, Motor Trend actually did a really good article
Yeah.
where they did Turbo. I think it's Turbo Stories. If you go and watch the most recent one, they talk about Mr. K, and you can get a few more behind the scenes stories. And yeah, I would highly recommend checking that out. And if you want to know some more stories, we always kind of drop these little tidbits of information and little hints and things that you wouldn't know otherwise. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we did have a few comments from online. We'll throw up a few here. Of course, Haley Myers says, "Say here, make it stop." So
Oh,
mixed reviews. I mean, give and take. We know this is a pushing of the envelope. I would say, creatively speaking. A lot of it's let's say here, front end looks like a Camaro, deranged Camaro, maybe. Again, it's purely a concept. What do we got?
Ion said 1983 IIRC or double IRC.
It,
He's kind of right. He's talking about a particular vehicle from that time era, and he's the stretch in the front. So yeah, and he's right. It kind of goes with that. So
gotcha, man. Good article though, man. I'm glad we covered it because that one again was everywhere. There really was um,
it
something that
kind
we
of
had to
hit
touch
it hit
upon.
the news feed pretty hard within the last day or so. So yeah.